You're watching Monty TV. I'm Jackie Karsh, sitting down now with Jamie Guerre. He's the SVP of Product at AI developer platform Together AI. Jamie, thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Jackie.
What does Together AI do?
So Together AI provides a platform for developers and companies to build on generative AI and actually train the models that are behind generative AI and then run those at scale. And we are very expert at making it fast and efficient. We believe we brought the leading AI acceleration cloud to customers.
Now, you guys are open source, and there's this big friction between the open source crowd and the closed source crowd. So where do you stand?
Yeah. Our founding thesis was really that the future is not going to be like one AI model to rule them all. We believe that there will be lots of really high quality AI models, increasingly more of them as opposed to fewer. And they'll come from lots of places, importantly, many of them being open source. And we were founded on this thesis like 2.5, 3 years ago. That's only been accelerating. Recent examples like DeepSeek and Meta's investment in the Llama models, we think are really proving this out. And you now have open source models that are on par with the leading closed source models in many respects.
Are you finding that there's a differentiation between the types of companies, maybe geographical locations? Who's choosing open, who's choosing closed?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we're seeing increasingly organizations that are really making a strategic investment in generative AI are wanting to do so on an open source model. If you look at, say, like an insurance company, let's say you're State Farm or any other insurance company, you have decades of claims data, you have decades of weather prediction information, and you want to compete in the market with the best predictions on whether or not to insure a particular client or a home or auto or whatever it might be. If you take all of that data, that's like your strategic data you've owned forever, and you train a closed source model with that data like Anthropic or OpenAI, the resulting model is owned by that company. You as State Farm don't get to own your investment in strategic investment in generative AI. Whereas if you take all of that data and you fine tune a model like DeepSeek or you fine tune a model like Llama, first you have more visibility into how the model works. And so it's easier to kind of control it and have the impact you want. And two, the resulting fine-tuned model is something you as the enterprise own. So now you own and control your strategic investment in generative AI. You can choose where you run that model. You can choose to have multiple vendors for it and other things. And so for this key reason, we're really seeing more enterprises, more businesses are wanting to use open source at the foundation of their investment in generative AI as opposed to using a closed source model.
Now, you've been around for about 2 or 3 years. I hope you're past the ramen phase of startup.
Barely.
What advice could you recommend to someone just starting out?
Yeah, I think really trying to be impact driven and trying to get out into the market quickly and then learn is key. I think that in many cases you may kind of have a strategy that you're really confident in and go and kind of like build on your own independently without getting it out into the market. And I think the sooner that you can get product into the market, test some of your key thesis, and then learn from how the market responds, learn from what your customers are asking for and what they're saying is super important. And I think that that's kind of been a large part of our success is getting out to customers quickly, listening to them, listening to the market, and trying to move very quickly to respond to them.
And a product, honestly, is only as good as the team that's building it, right? How are you building that great team?
Yeah, that's honestly the biggest challenge we have. We've been growing incredibly quickly. And so trying to move from 25 employees to 100 employees to 300 employees, in the span of a year or so is incredibly challenging to do and keep the high bar of quality and everything else. The biggest thing I would say on it is really trying to hire great leaders at all levels and then keep having them invest in people that they're hiring within their teams. And I think that allows you to scale more quickly as you kind of grow. I think that, there's obviously the classic saying that like A players hire A plus players, B players hire C players. And I think trying to really maintain that is crucial, where you are always trying to hire, someone smarter than yourself to kind of continue to kind of grow the team. really understanding where your differentiation is. For us, that's providing faster performance with better cost efficiency and ensuring that you're making the investments to kind of continue to double down on that and stay ahead on that. Move really quickly, ship often and move really quickly in doing that. That's kind of been our strategy and how we're on a constant sprint to kind of keep ahead.
All right. Well, we hope you get it to the end of the marathon.
Thank you.
Jamie, thank you so much for sitting down with me.